Careful, her, Captain!
Hey, hold on there. I gotta sign you in. Don't think I've seen you around. That means you must be new to Stellar Bay. You are new here, right? You must have seen those UDL gunships on your way in. There's only 3 of them these days. Still, they tend to scare folk off. Wish more folk could say that. Gets awful quiet guarding a landing pad that never gets used. You may not have heard, you being new, but Stellar Bay hardly ever gets off-road traffic, us being cut off by the board and all. Which means I never get to do this part, but I've been practicing, so here goes. On behalf of Monarch Stellar Industries, welcome to Stellar Bay, home of the freshest sal tuna in Halcyon. Please state your name for the records. Aw, don't be like that. I never get to do this part. Please. Hey, easy. I won't stop you. Mr. Sandra will be mighty pleased to meet you. If you see him over at headquarters, maybe you could tell him I did a bang-up job of welcoming you? Oh, and if you're headed that way, maybe you could do me a favor? I got this Rizzo's Rangers tossball poster coming in on the next sublight shipment, signed by the Black Hole himself. Only I haven't heard anything in a while. You think you could check with Celia to see if it's come in? I couldn't really say, I'm just a fan of the game. But the fancy collector types say the more people see these things, the less valuable they are. And I figure my poster's been passed around by more than a few people by now. Thanks a bunch! Celia works for Mr. Sanjar in the MSI building next to the bar. She's always there, so you can't miss her.
Well, well. Isn't... Enjoy. If you plan on sitting through Nyoka's stories, you might could use a few.
I could use a few and telling them myself.
Now what can I do for you? Something else I can do for you? Thought it had a fancy ring to it. Nope.
And the little bastard's slippery, right? On account of its blood. So it's sliding. All over the place. Trying to crawl. Getting so I can't tell the... Don't interrupt. But I gotta get in there. Get right in that baby rap's stomach and dig it out. If so much as a drop of stomach acid got on that medallion, shit, I don't know what I'd do. Might be I'd hunt every... Right. What are you staring? Wait. If you think this is drunk, I gotta... you need to get out more. Sit. Partake. Buy me a... Outstanding! What are you doing in Stellar Bay, stranger? Well. Let's get down to brass nuts then. I'm headed back out there after I sober up. You want a guide sooner than that? Yep. Outstanding! Our dispensary here maintains a stock of, well, I don't rightly know what they are. I'm cut off for the month, on account of needing one just about every damn day. But I'm sure you've got your wily ways. Well, they work. We got a deal or what?
What are the chances of all the times and places we could have been born?
Yeah.
We're here, light years from Earth, going about our lives.
Every time the punch clock feels...
Wrapped Musk and Canid Eyes, right here.
Sorry, I thought you were quoting a wonderful time.
Help! Someone is killed!
I think I'm gonna be sick. I clean the apartments while everyone's at work. I've seen all sorts of messes, but this... If you're going into the apartments, do not go into the lower one on the right. That's where the body is. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go... The body's in the first apartment on the right. So much.
Oh, sorry. Just spooked me, was all.
Not much I can do for this guy.
Good day to you.
Whoa, by the stars, my poor heart. Most people don't. Besides, only every day. But in case you haven't noticed, we don't... And even if I did scrape together enough to buy passage out with sublight, which would mean reaching Fallbrook without getting eaten, shot... Nothing. That's what. Because MSI is not in what you'd call good state. Even talking about it as my blood... That was a real popular meal 10, 20 years back, before the board tucked tail and ran. These days, everybody's had a belly full of salt tuna. They all want borscht. And the mushrooms, well, not many venture out of town, what with the monsters hereabouts. I can whip one up for you, but it'll cost. Here's a menu.
Oh, yikes. I can't cover this much, Captain. What? No, Captain, I don't want you to do it this way.
It's all right, miss. I'm a coward at heart. Made that clear from the outset. Look, Captain, this is the best I can do without putting myself out of business. I'm mighty glad you reckon so. This is gonna take about an hour in the oven. Nothing I can do to speed it. That's just how cooking works. There we are. Now, if you don't mind, I really need to take a leak.
My belly's gurgling just to smell it, Mr. Raymond. Thank you so much.
A pleasure to help such a charming young lady. You're a gentle soul, miss. Be careful with this one, all right? He's kind of a brute.
Oh, gosh. My tum's rumbling just smelling that casserole. Okay, going quiet.
If Velma's capable of running the warehouse, she can certainly pick up her own caffeinoid.
Don't be so hard on her. With Brax missing, she's working doubles and needs a little edge.
Very well, dearie. But you stop by any time you like, hmm?
Thanks, I'll keep that in mind. Sorry, I've got to get back to the warehouse.
Hello, dearie. Why, I don't believe I've seen you.
Quite the bedside manner, lady.
Well, it's so rare. What can Auntie Abigail do for you? And what a helpful young man you are. Nothing like a little pill to liven up the spirits.
Whiskey helps, too.
Please leave medical advice to the professionals. Now, dearie, who's this pickup for? I'm so sorry, but with the iconoclasts and the marauder filth chasing away what little trade we get, I'm afraid I have to reserve. Our reserves have gotten so low, I've even had to start locking the supply room upstairs. Isn't it a shame what some people will do? Isn't it just? I'd make an exception for you if I could, my little cherub. Is there anyone else needing a special pickup from Auntie Abigail? Oh, her. It's none of my business, but I have told her Dr. Williams would bump up her monthly allotment if only she'd join MSI. Now I've gone and said too much, and you know me. I'm afraid it'll be the better part of a month. Our dear Nyoka tends to exhaust. Believe me, there's nothing I'd love better than to help you. Dr. Williams managed the town's allotments from his terminal upstairs. Even. Oh, you flatter an old woman. Me, I'm just here to be a pretty face for the customers. And to keep an extra key to the supply room for all the times. The one upstairs, where we store our medicines. Well, this certainly isn't worth my good health. I'll get you a dose, but I'll have you know, I'm very disappointed in you. There, and good riddance. That's the last help you're getting from Abigail Edwards. I have nothing more to say to you, young man. I have nothing more to say to you, young man.
Problem.
Coming.
Ooh, you're the new face. Wow, you must be up. So who do you follow? Wait, don't tell me. You look like a Hammersmith Thunder fan. No? I'd heard they'd gotten a new hacker. Is that why everyone's making such a fuss about you? But what are you doing on Monarch? maybe we're not so isolated as I thought. So, what can I do for you? Poor Isaac. I was wondering why I hadn't seen it. I'd really like to help. Isaac was a sweet fellow, even if he did have terrible teeth. I don't know for sure, but I saw Elijah and his buddies pushing Isaac around. They're hooligans from Fallbrook. They sweep into town, drop supplies off behind the warehouse, and spend the rest of their stay getting rowdy over tossball. They usually loiter in the alley behind the yacht club. They're not allowed in the bar anymore. I bet you anything Isaac ran into trouble with one of them. Good. Someone's gotta. Mr. Sanjar will be pleased to hear about it when you're done. I know he gets fed up with the Fallbrook bullies, but there's not much he can.
Velma seem out of sorts to you?
She's always cranky.
No, I mean more than usual.
Hey, Velma, I got your caffeinoid pills.
You're a lifesaver. Hope Abigail didn't give you a hard time.
Just the usual. Any word on Braxton?
Nothing. Don't know how much longer I can cover for him either. Give me those pills, will you?
Here you go. You know, you might consider a real night's sleep instead.
Look, you can tell Catherine the new shipment will be ready when it's ready, all right? She's welcome to come up here and pack Did she now? Well, I can see I was mistaken. Because if hope you can forgive my temper. First, my autoloader foreman stages a walkout. Caleb Herrick runs the autoloader operators. He thinks I don't pay.
So the job's easy, but you're not doing it? Something smells here.
He and his whole crew walked out. Say they won't come back and... You mind slapping him around? I'm joking. If you can find a way to get him back to work, I'll make it worth your while. Unless you're here to tell me he's agreed to do his job. I don't have the bits for it. Besides, if I make an exception for hard workers, they turn dials and flip switches.
I'll wager she don't pay those folks that maintain the mechanicals decent.
Caleb and his crew have it better than anyone else around here, I'll tell you that. If Caleb wants to keep this job, he'd better get back to it. I'm about ready to hire sub-like... For running me ragged while he takes an extended leave at the bar? Maybe so, but I bet you Caleb runs out. He says he's got a stash to tide his crew over. Could be he's all talk, but if the money's real, I bet you he keeps it at home.
You'd steal from your own people?
That's business. Fine by me. Braxton. He's in charge of getting the fish fat, but also making sure they don't get... He's a real wizard with pharmaceuticals, but he has creative notions of working hours. Comes with living in a free call. I can't keep... Since you don't seem to be constrained yourself, maybe you... Tell him Velma said to get his lazy ass down here, or she might... Some... Sublight boss out of Fallbrook. Handles most goods that come in or out of Stellar Bay. Has a mouth like a ground zip.
You're back. Oh.
Says someone who's never had any fun.
Exactly. See? I'm glad someone on your crew's... Whew, that hits the spot.
That was fast. I gotta see about stalking some on the ship.
You be careful. The first one's free. After that, they'll offer you gainful employment. Great. Where to? Oh, Hiram? I ain't checked in on that man in an age. He's running the giant radio tower we left. We'll be going south and west, mostly along the road till we're past Fallbrook. Out there, there's a western slope that'll lead us through some fun. You like hunting, right? That's fun. If you're more of a spelunker, Rotting River will take you into the mountain caverns. We can discuss options when we get closer. That said, 3's already a crowd. I don't mind waiting somewhere until you got a spot open.
Mighty big gun you got there. I'm looking forward to seeing you. So you...
Keep Monarch safe, huh? That's real honorable work, Miss Nyoka.
Oh, no. Monarch ain't safe, even with me around. I've just got intimate knowledge of its dangers and an abundance of fortitude. Folks hire me because... I know what you can shoot and what you ought to run from. That's a mistake you only get to make once.
New face, huh? You from Offworld? A ship captain? Well, I'll be. Here, let me buy you a drink. Consider it an Why don't you grab a chair? Sit.
By the smell, he's been reveling enough for you both already.
Me and my friends have taken our destiny into our own hands. We're untethered, free of responsibility and worldly cares. Well, as long as we don't run out of bits. But until the windfall's gone, we're riding high. See, we just walked out on our work. Had enough, we did. It ain't any one thing but the sum of it all, having to work longer shifts for less bits. And the wages we do earn don't cover as much as they used to. Our supervisor, Velma, goes on and on about quarterly profits and meeting quotas. But that ain't what Sanjar promised us. Velma refuses to negotiate, so we're refusing to work. We won't go back until she agrees to pay us fair and proper. Us on Monarch, we're free from the board, you know? We have the right to lobby for better hours and pay. Sure thing. If I knew that, I'd have tried it. Talking reasonably. The others wanted to blackmail her. But we're above that. Besides, them are just rumors. We got no proof they're true. I would never endorse such an untoward tactic, you know, but, well, so far it's just gossip, you know? But if there was any proof to be had, it'd be in the Saltuna warehouse, I reckon. Sure thing. I never meant to call for anyone's head on a pike. Velma's not my favorite person, but she ain't been cruel to us. Devil it all. Now you got me feeling sorry for her. Fine. I guess we'll go back to work. Tell Velma not to worry. We'll look out for her.
Caleb's doing the talking.
I'm going.
Why don't you grab a chair? Me and the others agreed to return without any increased pay, did we?
I'd give you a friendlier welcome, but...
Who spat in your spirits, Velma?
You noticed my mood? I
could be seeing triple and I'd still think you're being unkind. I just might find it funnier.
Well, you try wrangling half a ton of dead fish with decades-old equipment and see what it does for your disposition. Anyway, what do you folks need? You knocked any sense into him yet? Sweetest words I've heard all day. Thanks for your help. You've gotten me out of a tight spot here. Take this for your efforts. Honest work deserves honest pay. Something else on your mind? Stealing's such a nasty word. Let's call it skimming. And yeah, let's just say I've noticed the sterile biotics we use for the fish would get used a little fast. Someone would've if this were a corporate town. But we pride ourselves. Besides, the Spacer's Choice stuff we use is cheap enough.
Look, I don't... Sorry. For a second, I thought you were Grim.
Done.
Smells like wrapped in here. Oh, it does work. I bought some recipes to cover up the salt.
Whatever you do, you'll never hear the end of it. You know,
You startled me. Jumpy? Everything's spinning. I'm just gonna take it easy, okay? Everything's spinning. I'm just gonna take it easy, okay?
they'll never see us.
Please, I need your help. I can pay. Oh, thank you for stopping. Everyone acts like nothing's wrong, like my little boy isn't at risk of being eaten by some vile creature. Please, you have to help me get my little Tucker back. He ran away and is going to get himself killed. Oh, I just know a Raptidon is melting him with acid as we speak! Don't you tell me to calm down. I promised my boy I'd protect. He ran out into the wilderness a few days ago. I warned him about the Raptidons, Mantisaurs, and Marauders, the toxic sulfur pools, and poisonous glands.
Oh, law, Captain. A youngster won't let...
You ain't wrong, but if he hasn't made it to Amber Heights by now, there's no saving him.
Please, won't you? Well, I guess I can't ask you to leave the town walls for free. I've got some bits saved up for a rainy day. I'll give you every last one. He's been pining for an adventure. Says he's tired of living... I warned him. A Raptidon would snap him up first. He should have listened to his mama. He's been listening to those awful broadcasts at the Iconoclasts. And now I just know my boy's run off to Amber Heights. That is, if a Mantiqueen hasn't spooled...
If a queen got to him, he died quick. Ought to be thankful for that.
Oh, where's my thinking? Thank you. Oh, you look for him in Amber Heights, you hear? It's down the road southwest of town. I'm sure he made it that far. And if you find any of them iconoclasts indoctrinating my boy, you punch them in the mouths.
You ever been off Monarch, Myoka? Before you met the captain, I mean.
Nah, I mostly just drank and hunted. As soon as you stop to dream of other things, that'll be the day something sneaks up and eats you.
Don't fret. I'm watching your back now. Anything tries to eat us, I'll give it a mighty whack on the nose.
Crazy.
Well, I'll be damned. You watch my back, I'll watch yours.
All I need to know is that they're on the other side of that wall.
I'm sure someone said the same thing in Amber Heights.
I gotta find a new drinking buddy.
Hey, you!
You!
What do you think you're doing? I don't want any trouble out of you.
Who the fuck are you? This ain't your alley.
Hey, what are you doing here? This is... Berta already pissed by those crates to market. Listen, that purple-toothed twerp had it coming. Not that anyone has proof. And not that it's any of your business. I don't think so. You're a loose end now.
Here they come! You got it, Captain!
I am a skull!
Patience on me, folks!
Could I get another advance, Mr. Nandi?
Just make sure it's properly logged.
I'll note it next to the others, sir.
Well, new business. Celia, didn't I tell you our new statistics-based advertising model would be a hit?
That you did, sir.
How can yield improvements of 26.7% not quicken the pulse? How can 32% cost savings not moisten the loins?
You've often posed these very questions.
Clear my schedule. This newcomer has a meeting with me. Did you hear that power play, Celia? They don't make them like this anymore in Halcyon. I only hope you don't judge me by my handshake. Now, what business brings you here? What a charming notion. One doesn't meet many free spirits in Halcyon. Not outside Tartarus prison, anyway. Forgive me, I'd be positively enraptured. Only I take it this means... Oh, a shame. I'd been saving a bottle of iceberg-aged whiskey for an occasion like this.
Seems like you're having a rough time, Mr. Sanjar. Are you doing quite all right?
Oh, don't worry on my account. This is merely the latest in a long line of professional erotic and athletic disappointments. I had hoped that livening up our advertisements with enticing figures would draw the other corporations back to our bosom, but it seems we're back to the drawing board. Surviving alone isn't... Thanks to the so-called hazard clause, Monarch has been cut off from the board's resources.
So-called is right. We've got our hazards, but we're still here, damn it. The board took off without so much as a thought for the folks left behind.
I don't... Dang it, Captain, that's not right. Folks on Monarch shouldn't have to suffer just because the board says so.
We've kept ourselves in business by trading with individual corporations, but given the off-the-books nature of those transactions, such arrangements...
You talk like Graham.
Freedom always sounds nice, doesn't it? It makes rather... But if you sit down and tally up the costs, how you provide for yourself in the absence of aid, how you protect yourself from a hostile galaxy, it starts to lose its shine.
Well, Mr. Nandi here has a rather ingenious plan to get MSI restored to the board.
On our terms, mind you.
A lot of good that'll do. They'll just find another reason to turn tail and abandon you.
Not if we secure the...
And if our advertising scheme hasn't borne fruit, then perhaps it's time we took matters into our own hands.
It's true, our Celia is an alarmingly competent middle manager. At any other company, she'd be wasted in data. The plan she refers to is a two-pronged approach, and the first part involves seeing Stellar Bay properly. With a Bolt 52 cartridge, of course. If you can get us what we need to rejoin the board, starting the Bolt 52, we'll be able to become one of the most productive and secure cities.
And you'll have a powerful ally on the board.
Why, one of the strongest defenses in Halcyon. I'll need to gather some supplemental materials, but...
You do tend to do that.
The Bolt 52 will be in the old arms building southwest of town, which used to be part of Stellar Bay before we had... And these days, it's overrun with more... Saying what? Which way? That's just what it's called. It's supposed to stand for something, but I forget what. Oh, and while you're at it, there should be a terminal in the arms building with some dangerous information. Perhaps you could delete it so it doesn't fall into the wrong hands. What can I do for you? But that's terrible. What happened? But that means we won't be able to log their testimonies. If there's one thing I've been hoping to re-establish in Stellar Bay, it's proper documentation for legal matters. always a shame when tempers get the better of good sense. Still, your intervention in the matter is much appreciated. Please consider this payment for your services. I see. And was his delivery of the MSI Well, that's excellent. I'll see that your feed... What else can I do for you? Hiram? Why, he's probably still out at Devil's Peak. Not that he's had the courtesy to notify me, at any rate. You'd head south along the road and look for a mountain to the west. Not that I'd advise it, but I see you've met Nyoka.
He just wants me out of his bar.
Sure. Be right there.
What was it like in Edgewater? I hear you workers were on the clock every available moment.
We always got 8 hours a day for sleeping. Just not always consecutive.
My condolences. I appreciate consistent wages like any other sane person, but that still sounds awful. At least Sanjar gives his folks weekends.
Weekends?
Hand to the void. I used to drop by the bar in Stellar Bay to knock a few back with the folks who had Saturdays off.
Don't know what I'd have done with that much time. I was always behind schedule anyhow.
Knowing you, you'd sit and be alone with your thoughts. Hey, Cap, got a minute? Hey, got a favor to ask you. Figure while we're out here in the wilderness anyhow, we might stop in on an old friend of mine. Preferably before we get to Hiram's. It's on the way, don't worry. You don't seem the type to run off and get yourself killed, and I could use the help. Well, we'll see about that. I'll be upfront with you. I hate asking for help. I hate it. Every time I give someone the opportunity to disappoint me, they seem to make it their most immediate goal. But this, what I'm... Really? Here I was. I used to run with a band of hunters. Friends. 6 of us. We were on Monarch when the corporations pulled out, and we helped a lot of people pick up the pieces. I haven't seen 2 of them in years, and the rest I know to be dead. I'd like to gather their effects and bury them all in the same places, but the family... I saw it happen. His name was Hayes, and he's our first stop. I'll show you where he rests. He had a medallion in his effects. That's what I'll bring home to Barry. Then we find my 2 lost trackers and bring them home. A long time ago, we built an encampment in one of Monarch's cave systems. Trouble is, a Mantiqueen showed up. If we can find Rebecca and Anders, they'll know how to lure her out. Then, we kill the bitch and bury everyone's medallions together. Oh, yes. Good old Stellar Bay. Only place on the planet that don't stink. Right. Here's the road. Follow it south.
For me. Feels like the old bits outside of Edgewater. Used up, unneeded, left to settle into ruin. I hope his
friends and I were scavenging here, and a Mantiqueen showed up. Then Raptidons. I ran in here, and, now the door's locked. Little help? It's easier than it sounds, all right? Next time... Phew. Thanks. My buddy had a key, but I ain't heard him in a while. So look for a dead guy, I guess. Or a rat. Maybe... What do you mean? Wait, upward? Oh, my eternal...
Ah, phew. Thank you so much. It was getting all stuffy in there, and now I'm out here. And I'm headed back to Amber Heights.
Still landing yourself in trouble.
Oh, hi, Nyoka. You mind giving me an escort back home? But I ain't got nothing on me. Ah, shit. I wouldn't have agreed to be saved if I'd known that. Oh, sure, I'm a runner. I'm used to getting all dizzy. Thanks a lot.
Careful. Only things you'll find in the ruins are liable to shoot you or eat you.
Fred, you say?
Smells like those old Sundays when we'd unload salt tuna shipments at the cannery.
You'll get used to it. Give it 10 or 15 years.
Poor Isaac. I thought we were safe inside these walls.
Have you had time to check on that poster yet? It's signed by Bertie Blackhole Holcomb. Everyone's heard of him, even on Monarch. We still get some of the games. You've been Oh, you're real funny. Guess I don't... Would you look at that? The Rizzo's logo is nice and bright, and you can still smell the ink on Mr. Holcomb's signature. I can't thank you enough. Still, you can have the bits I was going to spend at the bar this week. And you know what? Take my old tossball blocker, too. Never get the chance to use it these days. I'd show you around, but I gotta keep watch. Just in case someone else...
Did you have a sweetheart in Stellar Bay?
I had a fling or two, sure. But on Monarch, relationships ain't usually meant to last. A lot of fools tried to impress me, feigning bravado in the wilds, thinking they'd catch my attention with their stories. It was cute. Not so cute when their act got themselves munched. You know what's sexy? Confidence. You know what ain't? Disembowelment.